What is up, you guys? On today's podcast episode, we got another bonus round. And on this episode, we've got Carter Clone with Rustic Roots Tables LLC. He's up in Wisconsin. He's 19 years old and just came into our program less than 45 days ago. And I think you're going to be blown away at the results this young man has already gotten. So without further ado, let's dive into the conversation. All right, everybody, welcome back to another bonus round. And normally this is a bonus round with Zach, Keith, and Luke. But today, Keith just had ACL surgery and he's laid up on a couch. So be praying for Keith that he gets to recover. I know how rough that is, but I think he's doing good. I think he's on the road to recovery. And then Luke, really exciting news for Luke. For those of you that have connected with Luke or ever met him, had a conversation with him, seen him on the podcast, he just took a really incredible position with a huge HR firm as like their sales director. So Luke is crushing it. We love Luke. So he's transitioned out of the coaching role inside of the Woodworking Business Accelerator. So we're actually going to be introducing our new coach on our next bonus round, and that's going to be Jordan Tate. We had Jordan as a guest here in the past. Currently owns our sales record inside the program. He did over $89,000 on $3,000 in ad spend. So that's all new and exciting stuff. But in the meantime, I am hanging out with an incredible young guy today with a big, beautiful smile and an awesome beard. And he is a young guy that has come into the program and immediately started seeing crazy good results. One of the nicest guys you'll ever meet in the world. So I want to formally introduce Mr. Carter. It's Clone, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Mr. Carter Clone. How you doing today, bro?
Good. Pretty good.
Man, I'm super glad to have you on the podcast, and I wanted to invite you on because you're brand new. You've been in the program now, what, 40 something days,
Yeah.
50 days maybe?
Yep.
And how old are you?
I just turned 19 a couple days ago.
Just turned 19.
Yeah.
So another young gun, absolutely coming in and blowing up inside of the program. And so as I tell everybody, me and Carter and I were just talking, we're just going to hang out today and kind of share Carter's story and where he came from, how he got started in woodworking, what his goals were with his business and the challenges that he faced, how he found us, so on and so forth. So if you don't mind to just give us a quick background, like where do you live? Where did you grow up? How did you kind of get into woodworking? How did that kind of get started?
Yeah. So I live in a small town in southwest Wisconsin called Richland Center. It's about 5,000 people or so on a good day. And so basically, I got into woodworking just almost in high school. I really liked shop class and just woodworking, and I made chessboards and this and that. And then I knew that I always wanted to do business. I just wasn't sure what I wanted to do it in. And my mom is a farmhouse phenom. She loves anything farmhouse related.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was like, this is perfect. I was like, I'll make tables and do this and that. And then I came across this Zach guy on YouTube. And I was like, I was like, if he did it, then so can I and whatnot. And basically, I still have the first table I ever made. And it's absolutely horrible. But it's in my room.
Same.
I got it. It's in my room. And so, yeah, it's really where I got started with woodworking and a little bit about me. So
That's awesome, man. So would you say you're more of a woodworker or more of a business owner naturally?
I would say I'm more of a business owner. Horrible wood coming into the program. So
Okay, so you're learning as you go.
yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. We get guys of both on both ends of that spectrum. We get guys that they're like crazy good woodworkers, and it's very difficult on the business side of things. And then we have guys that they're trying to play catch up, kind of like you on the woodworking skills and principles and stuff. But hey, that's we all have to start from somewhere. So that's awesome. So were you trying to run a woodworking business before you joined the program, or did you start kind of like hitting the ground running with the business idea with joining the program?
Yeah. So I actually formed an LLC and everything as soon as I graduated. I got business bank accounts and whatnot. So right about June, I started, and June was a goose egg. Obviously, it wasn't very good. And then July was pretty interesting. That's a little bit of a story. Almost got scammed out of 12 grand in July.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so that was interesting. And then August was about six or so, and then September was another goose egg. And then I joined right away in October, October 1st or so I joined, and then it really's just taken off since then. So
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. So when you first started in July, what was the what was the challenge? What was the thing you said, it was a goose egg? What felt like the hardest part of starting a business for you? What was the big challenge?
me personally, and I know it's different for everybody, just me personally, I would say because I'm so young, there was a little bit of, cockiness there, thinking that, I know what I'm doing. I can get there lone wolf style, do it on my own. And I just wanted to say, no matter who you are, you're never going to get there by yourself. So
Yeah.
your net worth, you got to have a team that's going to help you get there. And I would say the only regret that I have joining the program is that I didn't do it sooner. And so that's
Yeah, that's good. Luke is in a very, I think Luke's story is very similar. When
yeah,
he and I talked probably like 4 or 5 months before he actually joined, and he didn't join. He's like, I'm gonna do this by myself. And so, which, I tell people all the time, it's like, you can get there by yourself. It's just gonna probably take you a little bit longer. You're gonna have to actually make all the mistakes that I made, or our team made, and we can help you by saying, hey, we've all made those mistakes. Don't do that.
yeah.
Um, so so you're in Wisconsin. What is the nearest like big city to you?
Madison's about an hour south, so it'd be
Okay.
Madison capital.
How big is Madison? How many people are in Madison? Do you have any idea?
Hmm. I just right off the top of my head, I want to say 30,000, but not 100% sure, but
Okay. Okay.
probably around there.
Yeah, it's hard. I would have to have it pulled up on Google to
Oh,
know. You know.
yeah.
Um, okay, so biggest issue when you're first starting. Remember, you kind of mentioned like you felt like you were kind of cocky and had it all figured out, but like from a practical standpoint, were you like really struggling to get new clients? Was it the organization side of your business that was a struggle? Like what was the big challenge?
Yeah, I would say it's almost a combination of everything that you mentioned. The organization wasn't there. And so, you had money going, not coming in, didn't know where it was going, and this and that. So that just wasn't there. The back end systems, none of it was in place. And
Mm,
really just building stuff and just sending it out, building it, spending a bunch of money, posting it online and sending it out. And I knew that there was a problem. The first table that I actually made and sold that I didn't keep, I kept my first one. So the second one that I made, I sold it on Etsy and I listed it for 500 bucks. And I was so excited and so happy that I was like, yes, I sold a table. I was at my day job driving the semi. And I was like, this is great. I'm going to make millions of dollars. And sold it for 500 bucks. Etsy took, they take a portion of it. So it left me with maybe $400 left. And then I bought materials and left me with maybe $200 after that. And this table was going to New Jersey from Wisconsin. And yeah,
dang,
so I spent $700 in shipping and completely blew the entire, lost a bunch of money on it. But
nice.
yeah,
That's the challenge. I think that a lot of guys don't realize. Obviously, I started the same way. It's like with Etsy, I'm a huge advocate of like don't build a business on Etsy because Etsy fees are crazy.
yes,
They're going to take 18, 20, 22% of whatever your sell price is. And then if you go Etsy, you got to go nationwide typically. I think you can limit who sees it, but you're just going to limit your sales dramatically.
yeah.
And if you tell Etsy, I only want to show it to the state of Wisconsin, well, they're going to say, okay, we have all these other vendors that want to show nationwide. So why would we even show yours, give you the exposure that you want? So it's just tricky with Etsy. But yeah, and then shipping. Shipping is such a pain, dude.
Yes.
Um, I talked to a lot of guys that they want to, they're like, man, I want to ship all over the country. And I'm like, you think you want to ship all over the country, but let me promise you that you actually don't. You
Yeah,
want to
don't.
start in your backyard. Um,
Mhm.
so that's awesome, man. So what has been the biggest game changer since joining the program? What would you say, like, man, obviously we try to have a comprehensive program that does lots of things, but what would you say is like the number one thing that's been like a game changer for you?
Yeah, the biggest game changer for me would just be the number of leads that are coming in. The way I look at it is every lead is a potential sale. And so you think you're getting 3 or 4 leads a day. That's 3 or 4 chances that you have to make a sale. And so it's
Mhm.
just amazing the amount of leads that come in. And also just how the coaches basically hold your hand the whole way. They're not going to do the work for you, but they're going to step by step lay it out, make it as easy as it could possibly be to do it. So
Yeah,
that's really helpful.
that's awesome. That's awesome. So before you joined the program, like what were you kind of averaging per month in sales? Like what did that kind of look like?
If I took an average, it was probably $1,000 a month between.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. So what was your best month before you joined the program? If you don't mind me asking.
best month before I joined the program was probably 6,000 in August. Was
Okay.
probably was just out of nowhere, just happened. So
Yeah. And you joined, so at the time of this recording, this is November 15th, and you joined at the beginning of last month or at the end of September?
it was September 30th that I
Okay.
yep.
Okay. So join September 30th. We got ads launched for you in October. So you've actually been running ads in the program now for a month and 45 days. We're now into November. So your best month was 6,000. So your very first month in the program, to walk me through like what you spent on ads, how many sales you got, what your total revenue was the very first month in the program.
Yeah, so first month in October, I spent $500 on ads and I got 18,000 in return from the ads, which was just crazy. I mean, I've got a 240 square foot shop right now that I'm working out of. It's stressful
Yep.
and I was like, wow, I'm like this. I was so happy every single time a sale coming. I'm like, there's no way. But like I never even thought.
That's awesome. So how many sales was that? How many clients is that? Do you
I
remember?
believe 6 or 7 sales that I had. I had my prices lower just to try and
Get some
make.
traction.
Yep.
Yep. That's awesome. But we teach you how to price it so that you don't lose money. That's one thing I think a lot of guys may have questions about. Like, if, like, okay, well, if I come in and especially if it's like they're going to be using our images and our products, it's like, well, how do I know what our costs are in that before I just start throwing out random quotes? Well, we have a process to teach you how to do that. So, so you spent 500 in ads. You did over 18 grand, which is a let's look at that for a second. So we got 18,000 divided by 500. That is a 36x return. That's a
Yeah.
36 return on ad spend. That's crazy.
Yeah. I don't know how.
That's awesome, man. So congratulations.
Yeah.
If I haven't told, I'm pretty sure I have told you, but that's awesome. So when looking back on, like, because some people come in the program and they do struggle out of the gate. And to be fair, that's probably the norm. To be fair, the norm is that you're learning a sales process. You're marketing for the first time to an audience that has never seen you or heard of you before. Your Facebook page may not be very developed. That's usually the norm. And so a lot of guys struggle to get sales the first month. If they do, they might get one, maybe two. You're a little bit of an anomaly with that. So what do you feel like you did differently, or what questions did you ask? What information did you learn that really helped you have the results you had the very first month?
Yeah. So I would say basically for your first month, especially, really every single good lead that you get, just go and ask the coaches. Keith is absolutely amazing at responding very quickly, and he's just more than willing to help with any questions that you have. And I also feel like when you come into the program for your first month, don't expect don't expect it to just work. You put money in and you're going to get it out, but you still have to put work in. So it's not going to do it itself. So you just, if you're a hard worker, then the coaches lay it out for you. You're going to succeed in your first couple months if you just work as hard as humanly possible. And so,
Yeah.
like for me, I've got nothing. I mean, I'm 19 and I live at home with mom and dad. I've got money to throw into it. So it's easier for me than might maybe somebody who's got a family to provide for and such and whatnot.
Yeah.
But just ask the coaches and talk to them every step of the way for your first couple months.
Yeah, something else I want to just kind of mention, and we talked about this off the call earlier, but you also have a day job, right? So
Yes.
so kind of tell us about that. Tell us about your schedule, how you work in all this work and keeping up with leads along with your day job. What does that look like?
Yeah, that's actually good because I was going to talk about that actually too. So basically, and this is going to be the most boring schedule, but it's just what you have to do to make it work. So I wake up at 6 in the morning and then I'm at work by 7. And then from 7 to 4, I'm working my day job as a propane service technician. I get home around 4:15 ish, say hi to mom and dad, eat a snack or so. And then from 4:30 to 9:30, I'm in the shop just working every single day in the shop working. From 9:30 to 10:30, I'm sitting on my laptop doing back end stuff, spreadsheets and all the fun stuff. And
Yeah.
then usually by 11:30, I'm in bed and then I wake up and do it all over again for probably the last
Okay.
6 months. It's crazy, but
So you're in a season where you don't feel very balanced, to be fair.
there's yeah, there's no balance at all. No,
Yeah,
there's
you're working your butt off, for sure. And I think all of us have to. That's one thing that I don't necessarily believe in a perfectly balanced life. I
mm-hmm.
think that there are seasons where we need to return to balance, but there are also seasons where you have to push and, you know, acknowledging that for what it is and just owning it and rocking it. And also, the other thing that I think a lot of people may not see, and as they hear this, like you're working like a madman, is that you're winning, right? You're
Mm,
crushing it. You're not being pushed to go do these things. You're being pulled by the vision of what you're trying to build, right? So is this something that's sustainable for the rest of your life? No, it's
no.
definitely not. It's not sustainable for the rest of your life, but could you crush it for 90 days or for 6 months, right? What would it look like if you actually applied yourself? And this is not for you, this is for everybody that's listening or for everybody that's watching. What would it look like if you actually applied yourself and went all in for 30, 60, 90 days? What if you gave everything you had for 90 days to pursue your dream and to pursue what you actually ultimately want? Some guys want to keep a day job and do this on the side. Some guys want to quit the day job that they loathe entirely so that they can do this full time, right? So it's just getting a vision for your life and then going all in on it. I talk to guys all the time that they're just they're fearful. They're afraid they're going to mess up. They're afraid that they're going to lose something. And some people, like you had just mentioned, some people have more to lose than others. If you got a mortgage and a wife and babies at home, that's a little bit more stressful. But especially for the young guys like you, that you've got a little bit of flexibility, you can make some mistakes and be okay. Man, why not do that, right? Why not give it a chance and go for it? And whether that's working with us in the Woodworking Business Accelerator program or that's something else, um, but just taking a risk and putting yourself out there. And so when we this is a question that we ask everybody, and this is just a great question to kind of help you reflect on your time so far. You haven't been here long, but what do you feel like is the difference between the guys that come in and do exceptionally well and the guys that come in and don't do very good in the program? Have you been able to pick up on anything inside of our group of like the guys that tend to do really well and the guys that aren't doing as good? Can you speak to that?
Yeah, so I would say, and I believe Jordan maybe said this or somebody, it just comes down to the guys who don't do well, you never even knew they were there to begin with. They come in and for whatever reason they never introduce themselves, you never know they're there, and then they're just gone. And the guys who are doing exceptionally well are constantly every single day, they're going to see that their name in the chat. They're saying something in the general chat. They're going to be there, or they're talking to the coaches all the time, and just they like to help others as well. Those guys tend to do extremely well, and what you give someone going to get back in return. Couple big guys, just not to solo anybody out, but like Tim Johnson. Every time I ask a question, it seems like he's always just there. It always
Yeah,
answers.
he's a baller.
Yes, always helping me out. And it's just look at everybody as a mentor. We're all clients, if you will, of the program. But at the end of the day, everybody mentors everybody. And so if you're just consistent in the Slack channel, it definitely helps a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that, the thing that's tricky about what we do is that there are thousands of little things that you have to learn along the way to like be successful, right? And I think so many guys want to know the thousand things before they can commit. Well, you got to commit.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be willing to learn the thousand things as you go. And because I couldn't even give you there's so many things to talk about. There's finances, there's systems, there's manufacturing, vendors, accounting, taxes, sales, marketing, how to post organically. There's so many of these components that make up a successful business, but you literally just have to start walking. And as you walk, you're going to cross a bridge. And when we get there, then we'll cross the bridge, right? When we get there, then we'll figure it out. And so I just commend young guys like you. I commend anybody that has joined the program or gone for it, so to speak, that you have to have that mentality of like there's just literally no way that I'm going to know everything I need to know before I start. I got to start and I will learn as I go. And so, um, so yeah. So a couple more questions for you. Um, so what's like your favorite thing about actually woodworking itself? Well, this is a question that I haven't asked anybody yet, but like, do you love the build process, seeing the finished product? What is like your favorite project that you've done so far? Like, let's talk about woodworking a little bit. Like, what do you love to do inside of the shop?
Yeah, so my favorite thing just with woodworking is taking essentially nothing and turning it into something that's worth a lot of money. And so
Yes.
that's my most favorite thing. And the project that is my favorite is actually one that I just did post in the Slack. It was a herringbone table, and I've never done it before, and it had an epoxy finish on it. And it took me 40 plus hours to do that table. There was way too many mistakes. And
Yep.
so I maybe broke even on that deal, but I know for the future. Now I know how to do them whenever somebody asks. And
Yeah.
yeah, just taking nothing and turning it into something is just amazing. And working with your hands, and it gets
Yeah.
your brain flowing. It's almost just relaxing, really. It can be stressful, but it's relaxing. So
Yeah, the thing I always loved, I think there's lots of parts of it that were so satisfying, but the part that I think I loved the most was when I would pull a tabletop out of the clamps and it was just like raw and rough and had glue all over it, and like taking that down to a like perfectly finished top with stain and lacquer on it and it being like exquisite. Like
yes.
that was so cool to me to take like this rough, like squared off, sharp edges, like glue stains and glue all over it, and like turning that into something that's like really, really fine. That is a super satisfying feeling. Um, I always really liked applying finish. I didn't really love to paint. Painting was never anything I particularly enjoyed, but I loved spraying lacquer and seeing it cure and sanding in between coats. Always loved doing that. So, okay, so we can start kind of wrapping this thing up a little bit. I want to talk to you about your goals. Like what is what does this business look like for you, Carter, in the next 6 months and in the next 5 years? What are some goals?
Yeah, so coming up here in January, I'm gonna leave my day job and transition into doing my business full time, which is really exciting. It feels like the first step for me to really achieve all of my goals. And then I'm planning for 2025. I'm just trying to scale as much as I possibly can because I feel that this business is a long-term thing for me. Obviously, right now it's too young. I have no intentions of selling it or anything like that. It's just more of a long term, my business basically. And yeah, I'm looking to do, 30, 40,000 a month coming up in 2025 and just
Yeah.
blow this sucker up and take it to the moon as much as I can and embrace all the failures along the way because you just got to plan for them.
Yeah. No, that's good. I would say also just to kind of do a little coaching with you on this conversation. Um, what everybody tends to overlook during that phase is their margins. Is as people start scaling, they see so much volume of cash that they just kind of they're not really worried about expenses. They're not like, oh, we got so much money flowing in that it's no big deal. And then there's usually like a hardcore like check, like 8, 10, 12 months down the road, we're like, holy cow, like we scaled, but we didn't scale very profitably. So just some coaching for you as you scale is don't ever take your eye off of your net margins. Make sure that you are running really clean books and you're actually having month to month updates where you can look at your P&L statement. You can look and see what percentage is going to my material costs, my labor costs, my overhead, my insurance, whatever those things might be, and make sure that you're just really holding and to strict numbers. Um, and because we just have this tendency when volume skyrockets and we have a lot of things happening, we're like, it's just going to work itself out. And because I had ran my business like that for like 2 years, man, and then looked at my numbers, I'm like, I'm just really not very profitable. So I had to start peeling back the layers and finding ways to save costs here, save costs there without compromising the quality of the product. And so I love it, dude. So did you play sports or were you an athlete? What was your thing in high school?
Yeah, so in high school, I did a lot of football. I was a big kid in high school. And so
Okay.
then came around senior year, I realized I was like, sports aren't going to be for the rest of my life. So let's go make some money. And so I was working. And funny story, I started a t-shirt making business in high school and tried to
Nice.
failed miserably. It
Yeah. Oh yeah.
but yeah, it was just a lot of working in high school, working at Walmart, first job, and hated every second of it. But everybody's got to start somewhere. You just got it.
Yeah.
But and so that was pretty fun. And then yeah, so that's what I did in school and graduated, and it's just been uphill ever since. So
I love it. I love it. So do you, other than our program, what has helped you the most in business? Are there any books or other podcasts or YouTube channels? What has been the most helpful resource outside of our program to kind of help you develop some business principles and grow the business?
yeah, I would recommend for anybody listening, watch Alex Hermosi. Every single thing that he has on YouTube, watch it. When I was younger, I looked at it and I said, "This is a 2 hour video. I'm not watching that. It's too long." But you just watch them, every single one, because you can learn so much from that guy alone just for business aspects. So I
Yeah.
would watch a lot of his stuff.
I would ask you what your hobbies are, but it sounds like your hobbies are work at the
I
moment.
hobbies. No, I don't.
So do you like to hunt? Do you like to fish?
I
What do you
do
like?
like to hunt. I
Okay.
It's really, I mean, it's just almost so boring. I just don't even watch TV. I haven't watched TV in forever. It sounds horrible, but it,
That's okay.
yeah, as soon as January rolls around, it'll get more balanced. I'll leave my full-time job and we'll be good
Yeah.
to go then. So,
So are you a big deer hunter in Wisconsin?
oh yeah, there's a lot of big bucks around here.
Yeah, for sure. I'm super envious where I'm at, man. I'm in East Texas and in South Texas or West Texas, there's some deer, some big bucks, but like where I'm at, not really, And everything in Texas, I'm from Arkansas originally, where there was a lot of public land. And so you could basically hunt thousands upon thousands of acres of public land. Well, I moved down to Texas where everything's private land. So I got on a lease, but I've got like 8 guys on this lease with me. And it's just hard, man. It's hard out here in
No,
East Texas to get after a big buck. So I'm gonna have to come crash with you and get after a Wisconsin deer at some point.
there you come up here and we'll feed you some cheese and
Come
we'll
on, dude. I'll eat some cheese. Are you a
yeah.
Packers fan?
No, no, no. It's crazy. I know. Seattle. That's where, for whatever reason, that's where my heart
Okay.
is at, yeah.
Okay, that's fair. That's
But
fair. I just
I'll rock with the Badgers all day.
that's funny. I recently just took off my Dallas Cowboy fan hat. I think officially. I'm like, you know what? I'm I'm tired of this abusive relationship. It's
Dude,
one-sided. I keep
uh,
giving and you keep taking, and I don't get anything in return. And so I think I'm putting on my Baltimore Ravens
there you
hat.
go. Yep.
I I'm a huge Derrick Henry fan, a huge Lamar Jackson fan, and they got on the same team together, and I was like, this is gonna be fun. This
It's
will be fun
meant
to
to be.
watch. Yeah. So, well, dude, I appreciate you taking some time and hopping on the call. And one thing I always love to do on the end of these calls is just show some serious honor to our guests. And so I'm super proud of you coming right in, having a positive attitude, immediately just saying, "Hey, I'm going to be the most successful client you've ever had. Let's go." And applying yourself and putting in the work. And you've already demonstrated such an incredible work ethic, an ability to learn, an ability to adapt. You ask good questions and you figure things out along the way. And, whether you are a woodworker 40 years from now or you've transitioned into some other industry, the principles that you're already showing, that you're already walking with, you're going to be just fine. Those principles are going to carry you a really, really long way. So just kudos to you, dude. Came into the program, you're already crushing it. You're doing everything in your power to succeed, and the results speak for themselves once you put in the work. And so, last thing here is where can people find you? Also, I never got the name. I know the name of your business, but tell everybody name of your business, where they can find you on Instagram, on Facebook, what that looks like.
Yeah, so you can go on my website. It's rusticrootstables.com. And every social media that we have is Rustic Roots Tables LLC.
Very nice. So, with that being said, if you got any of you guys or girls out there that are watching, listening into this, um, feel free to hit him up, ask him questions about the program if you're considering it. Um, I'm sure Carter wouldn't mind too bad to answer some questions and connect with you guys. But if you're on the edge of considering the program, what would you tell somebody that's like, I don't know, is it worth it? Or if they're considering like the financial leap, I mean, it's a paid service. So like if they're like, I don't know if I should spend the money on this, like what would you tell them to help them in their mind maybe get over that hump?
Yeah, I would say just go out and do it. I mean, I took the little bit of money that I got for my graduation party and put it towards just because. So I would say just go out and do it and ask yourself just a couple questions. Am I a hard worker? Am I coachable? If those are both yeses, then you will make your money back within 90 days. I can promise you. As long as those are both yeses, you will make your money back and a lot more. So,
It's good. It's good. Well, dude, thanks for being on the podcast. Love you, brother. And for all of you that are out there watching, if you have not liked and subscribed, be sure to like and subscribe. We're gonna wrap this thing up. Be sure to check Carter out, Rustic Roots Tables LLC. And for the rest of you guys, we're signing off. Talk to you soon.